The Thomas Bryant jockstrap. Get him out of here.
How does that not indicate to you, like, hey, sometimes, like, these prospects are awesome?
Donald, get back. They snatched that chain, boy. Get back. What's all gonna do about it? Popeye snatched that chain. Get back. We want that snack wrap. They got 3 flavors. Y'all got 1. Get back.
Hey, everybody. Welcome on into the Big Factory here on the Big Play Sports Network. Ryan Tyler, Jack O'Rourke, Nick Padone, Rob Watson. All right, guys. What's up with the hats? Let's talk about the elephant in the room.
You don't like it?
Yeah, what's wrong?
It's not that I don't like
Do
them.
you feel intimidated because my hat's bigger than yours?
No.
Okay.
I know how to use my hat better, so that's all that matters.
Ryan, imitation is sincerest form of flattery.
That's what they say. That's what they say. That's what I've heard before. Happy Tuesday, fellas. What's going on?
Not
Dude,
too much.
I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm exhausted.
I was supposed to be in studio with you guys today.
Stay on
But I
your side.
woke up at around 7 a.m. and there was some major lawn construction going on next door. And as I was getting ready, my whole house shook, and I looked outside, and in my driveway / into my yard was the biggest tree that I've ever seen in my life. So it's a good thing that my car wasn't in the driveway, and I'm boxed in. I'm snowed in June. I'm remote today. I miss you guys because I wanted to come in today.
How is Bo handling the trees?
He's doing a little better now. I think the initial shock about 2 hours ago really got to him, but I think he realized that it's just a component of his day that he's going to have to put up with now.
We have to start having a conversation about Bo's composure as a dog.
Yeah.
The critics need to start having a word.
He will panic about anything.
Jack, what's up, dude?
Not too much. You know, we might hand out Lord Stanley's Cup tonight, so I'm a little bit excited about that. That's always a big day in the sport of hockey. You know, the guards have a chance to get over 500 tonight. I mean, guys, what a great day to be alive. You can't beat it. Sun's out. Might golf today. I mean, guys, can't beat it.
Where are the guards playing?
The guards are playing the San Francisco Giants, led by their new star player, Rafael Devers.
Lost.
And it's Robbie Ray going tonight, who, by the way, is making a case for NL Cy Young.
Yeah, he's a lefty as well, which is not
So GG.
not good for us.
Like, what,
Hey,
what are
Rob.
you, like, plus 400 type?
They're not going over 500 tonight.
Okay.
Guys, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm exhausted today.
You sound it, Ryan. I could hear it in your voice.
Why do you feel exhausted?
I don't know. I woke up at 2:30. I couldn't go back to bed till, I want to say 6. And woke back up at 8.
What did you do for those 3.5
I sat in
hours?
my bed. Here's what I did. Here's exactly what I did. I checked my baseball fantasy lineup. I went up, took a piss. I watched Drake London highlights, and then I catched up on NFL Insiders, and then I went back to bed.
Wow.
So it was quite the night for me.
That's something. I can't lie.
We got to get you rested up before tomorrow.
Yeah, Nick, tell us what's going on, dude.
Yeah, Colleague Companies Championship. It really gets started for us tomorrow, but for the general public, we'll be out there Thursday. We'll be out there Friday. You guys could probably hear Bo barking in the background because people are doing maintenance outside with my neighbors in their lawn, but that's okay because we will be out there Thursday. We'll be out there Friday all day in the Colleague Infinity Zone. Come say what's up to us. You could still get your tickets now, colleaguegolf.com. This is the biggest charity event of the summer. Philanthropy is at the heart of everything they do over at the Colleague Companies. At Colleague Giving, they support the well-being of children and their families, and they are proud to have given to over 400 different nonprofits. Over the last 2 years, this Colleague Companies Golf Championship has raised $2.6 million. They've given that to over 25 different Northeast Ohio charities. I saw they put out the pool, guys, of some of the golfers that are participating in this thing. I mean, get down to Akron and see some of these legends up close and personal. We all know the big one, John Daly's going to be there. That's what I'm looking forward to the most. But we want to see you guys this week in Akron, colleaguegolf.com.
All right, guys, let's jump into some sports. Actually, first thing, I hop on Twitter this fine morning, and I see R. Kelly reportedly rushed to the hospital from an overdose of medications in prison. R. Kelly should have been at Alcatraz a long time ago, guys. We fumbled that.
Yeah.
I mean, they already took care of him, though. I mean,
Yeah,
I feel
think
like we're supposed to get.
he
the
might have
people
put
that
himself
aren't
in
got
there. I don't think he even needed our help.
R.
He
Kelly
was the one.
2020.
He was the one with piss, right? Like,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He did a lot
Oh,
more
yeah.
than that, bro.
So how about this? I saw that this morning as well, Ryan, on TMZ.
Mhm.
TMZ has really turned into like an uber reliable news source.
Bro, they were the first one on Kobe's helicopter crash.
Yeah. Whereas, like,
Well, I remember people
like,
thinking it wasn't
Yeah.
real. Yeah.
right,
No,
because
they
10
were.
to 15 years ago, it was much more of like a Hollywood reporter slash
Hogan scandals.
paparazzi. They were
Hulk
whiffing on
Hogan
stuff left
scandal.
and right, but like the renaissance really of TMZ, where they're the first on all of this big news, specifically like celebrity, deaths, unfortunately, or the illnesses like what we've got going on today. I don't know. I find it fascinating that TMZ's kind of back.
TMZ all the way back. That's awesome. All right, guys, let's talk some actual ball. NBA Finals, Game 5, Thunder get the win 120-109. They're one win away from eternal glory, their first ever franchise NBA championship. This was the Jalen Williams game, a career playoff high, 40 points. Shai drops in 31 from himself. This 40-piece, guys, this is nothing new for Jalen Williams. Yes, it's the most, but he keeps scoring throughout this NBA Finals. Williams, 26 points in Game 3, 27 in Game 4, and now 40 in Game 5, averaging 31 points with 6 rebounds over those 3 games. Pascal Siakam, 28 points. That leads the Pacers. That's not enough. TJ McConnell pours in 18. Really was the only reason the Pacers were back into this at the end of the third quarter. That was the TJ McConnell quarter. Guys, one win away for the Thunder for their first championship, as I mentioned. Teams that win Game 5 in NBA Finals, that was tied at 2-2, have gone on to win the series 23 times in 31 previous opportunities. That's 74%. And teams with a 3-2 lead in the Finals have now won 40 times in 49 previous opportunities, or 82%. One win away, and it seems like the Thunder have an opportunity to put this thing away in Indiana.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to see what's up with Halliburton's calf, because I mean, if we're pouring in 0 field goals in Game 6, you could probably just chalk that one up right now. I mean, Lou Dort is just the reason. I mean, he's got him locked up. You can't do anything about him. I wanted to know what did you guys take away from the game last night, personally?
I personally took away the fact that this thing's over, Rob.
Yeah.
I think we kind of hit on it yesterday during the show. So for the replay tonight on the Rock, we'll look even smarter because we said that when the Thunder are that on, there's kind of no stopping them. And defensively, you really saw it with Halliburton getting shut down, and then the injury was a talking point there throughout the second half, but. Rob, it dates back to our conversation that we had about the Cavs in the playoffs, man. There's playoff risers and there's playoff fallers. And look at the Thunder. Look at Jalen Williams. Look at Alex Caruso. Chet Holmgren last night started out the game with an out-of-body experience. Like, these guys consistently rise to the occasion. Like, they might not be the most talented regular season names. They're not winning all the glamorous awards and all-star votes and all that stuff. But come playoff time, these dudes are ready to scrap and they're ready to contribute. And that's why the Thunder are 1 game away from winning the title. And I think they're going to do it in short order here. I don't think this thing's going 7. I think they'll wrap it up in 6.
Yeah, it's just so fun, especially as a guy who's still getting into basketball. Like, for me, you usually got to entertain me with dunks and stuff. But, like, watching the Thunder and, like, how long they are, it's so impressive, like, seeing them defend, not just on the wings, but up top as well. Like, 23 turnovers last night again. They're forcing turnovers, getting 32 points off of that. Like, Nick said it, too. Like, when they're doing what they're best at, like, getting stops and playing well in transition, like, and getting the ball back down for Chet and Jay Will, like, the big guys to play off of SGA, like, they're ridiculous. Like, it's really, really fun to watch, and it's really, really hard to stop. And, yeah, I mean, especially Siakam is probably like still the true, I guess, best player. I mean, all around on the Pacers. But I mean, like, if Hallie's not giving you 20 points, they're probably gonna be in trouble. And yeah, especially if he's giving you less than 5 points, you're screwed.
Him and Nemhard were awful last night. Personally, just way too many turnovers. And I mean, you're not winning. You're probably not winning any game against the Thunder when Shea has 30 and he's not the leading scorer. But then also you saw what we said last week, or last game. The Thunder hit 3 threes last night. They hit 14. Like, at home, everyone's gonna shoot better. You know what I'm saying? That's what comes. So that was expected. And I mean,
I was gonna say, I even thought of you saying that too. I think Caruso got the ball like off of a steal, and he was wide open in the corner, like hadn't even gotten the pass yet. Like, but it was obviously going out to him. Like, the building already erupts at that point in time. It's so cool to watch.
It's so much different.
And the intros too.
It's the energy, yeah. The finals intros.
It's back.
Let's touch on that too. But I mean. Last thing, too, speaking of Caruso, just a crazy play last night, like I like watching from basketball, is, first off, there's so many possessions where they couldn't even get inside the three-point line. OKC's defense was that crazy. They forced like a backcourt violation. They couldn't even get the ball inside the arc. That's insane defense. That's like 8 a.m. AAU type stuff. But then we got to play. They poke the ball out from Pascal Siakam. he's got like 5 steps on Alex Caruso. He hawks him down, he dives on the ball and just gets the whole crowd into it. Like, I just feel like the Thunder have taken the Pacers' heart completely out of the series as of last night and kind of the game before that.
Guys, I want to ask you this question. Is it possible that we go to Game 6, the Thunder wrap that one up in Indiana, Jalen Williams drops another 35-40, kind of continuing this thing? Could we see Jalen Williams possibly getting the NBA Finals trophy over Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? Just last year, we saw Jaylen Brown get it rather than Jason Tatum. Jack, this is quite the stat. Jalen Williams at 24, just the 5th player in league history with 3 consecutive final games of at least 25 points before his 25th birthday. The others, this is some pretty good company. In fact, got a feeling these are all going to be Hall of Famers. Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, Dwayne Wade, and Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah, I was going to read that stat right back at you, but that's exactly what it is, and it's why he does have a real chance. Like, when you're averaging 31 points in the finals at such a young age, and I don't know, it is kind of funny because, yeah, I kind of forgot Jaylen Brown won it until last weekend when I witnessed a wild, 20-minute debate over Giannis versus Jason Tatum. I don't even know how it progressed to being that long of a debate. I know. But, no, I think he's got a chance to win. Yeah, it's like some of these names, too, like Dwayne Wade had the legendary 2006 finals, had a bunch of blocks as well. Like, there's some names around here that, you want to be mentioned in their company. And I don't know. It's just so interesting because I wonder what they're going to do also. Not to turn it, this series obviously isn't over yet, but, with Hartenstein and Lou Dort and some of these guys who are going to need new contracts, I'm very interested to see how long this Thunder core can truly stay intact outside the stars.
So unless Shai has 0 points in a closeout game, I don't think Jalen Williams has a chance to win it because Shai is still averaging 33 points. As quiet as it seems because he puts the ball in the hoop and his shot making is so tough. Also, last year, I think Tatum and Brown, neither one of them averaged over 25. I think they put the whole team, their team was so good they scored so many points. But I think Jaylen Brown got a lot of that for his defense on Luka Doncic too. But I think it's easily going to go to SGA though, unless he just completely collapses and then we see another 40 points from J-Dub in the Game 6 again.
Agreed. It's going to be a clean sweep for SGA, and you don't see that very often where somebody wins Finals MVP and NBA championship, NBA Finals MVP all in one season. But he's been that good. That's why the Thunder were the best team in the league the entire way, number 1 seed the entire way, number 1 seed throughout the playoffs, and I really think they're going to take care of business against the Pacers, which have been a good story. And now we really see the East kind of going for it with that Orlando Magic trade. And the East definitely is a little bit more wide open. But the Thunder have just had that Western Conference locked down all year long.
We got to take a break. Last time a Cleveland Brown won MVP, 1980. That was Brian Sipe. Shedeur Sanders MVP this year? I don't know. I guess we'll find out. We'll talk about position battles. Brown's minicamp is officially wrapped up. Now we wait until late July when official training camp kicks off, and then we can start talking some real football. We'll be right back on The Big Factor. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to The Big Factor on the Big Play Sports Network. Ryan Tyler, Jack Rourke, Nick Pannone, Rob Watson. Got to tell you about our friends at Fairway Ford. Fairway Ford is the largest inventory of new Ford trucks and Super Duty trucks. Employee pricing for everybody. You see right up there. You pay less than what they pay. That's pre-tariff pricing on all Fords, over 500 in stock. Never been a better time to buy your dream vehicle. Quite literally be in Canfield, Ohio as we speak right now. So don't let that short drive prevent you from saving literally thousands of dollars on your new ride. Scan that QR code or go give their website a visit, fairwayfordohio.com. Again, that's fairwayfordohio.com. Well, Browns minicamp is officially over, guys. We have to wait until late July till we get back to it when actual training camp starts. I suppose we can go around the room, look at these position battles. We'll start here with wide receiver. You know it's Jerry Jeudy's #1 job. Then you got Cedric Tillman, Jamari Thrash, David Bell, Deontay Johnson potentially winning the slot job. Also could play the boundary, guys. This isn't a scary room by any means. But if we see Kenny Pickett start, if we see Joe Flacco start, especially Joe Flacco, we saw him unlock Amari Cooper. We saw him unlock David Njoku. Could possibly do the same with the Harold Fannin Jr. It's not a scary room on paper, but do we see any room where the Browns wide receivers could make a splash this season?
Yeah, a little bit. You know, the one guy that I feel like we haven't talked about at all, really, but I heard really good things out of mandatory minicamp is Jamari Thrash. I would love to see Jamari Thrash, get on the field. I don't know the path to how Jamari Thrash might be able to get on the field because Deontay Johnson is there. And you assume that that's your slot. You assume that we're going back to Stefanski ball, which means less receivers, more tight ends, more extra offensive linemen, more running the ball. But I heard a lot of good things from Thrash because there was a time where Tillman, Michael Woods, David Bell were all off to the side, working out injuries. And it was literally Jerry Jeudy, Jamari Thrash as the top two options. And Thrash kind of rose to the occasion and looked the part. So I think that has potential to be a preseason hero. We're going to be putting a lot of stock into this preseason because that's when you're going to get the earliest look at all, 4 of these different quarterbacks. So it'll be fun to see kind of the other heroes that emerge from that preseason, like Austin Watkins last year.
I mean, it seemed like a big identifier for them in bringing in Deontay Johnson in the first place was like his prior work with Kenny Pickett. So I wonder if they ever did get to a scenario, because I mean, Deontay Johnson's no guaranteed money, I believe, this year. I wonder if they started to figure out by like late July, early August, or whenever into August, hey, it's not going to be Kenny. Maybe Joe Flacco's the week 1 starter if that's the way they decide to go. Maybe then Nick, because also like if DeAndre Carter makes the roster, he's a slot receiver inherently as well as a kick returner. Like you'd run out of spots for Jamari Thrash. I wonder if they would just up and cut Deontay Johnson to give Jamari Thrash the job.
Whoa! Why are we cutting Deontay Johnson?
I'm saying if they brought him in for Kenny Pickett, if Kenny Pickett's not going to make the roster, and you want to learn about a kid who supposedly had a good minicamp.
It's an interesting thought. I think the one thing about Thrash is he still is a mid-round pick. Deontay Johnson, even though he was on 4 different teams last year, I think they're optimistic that there was a good football player in there if he could keep his head on straight.
That's a one-time
That's the biggest thing. Like if Deontay Johnson is a head case and has an attitude and all that stuff that plagued him last year, then okay, he's going to be gone, by the time week 1 even rolls around. But if he shows up with his head on straight, I don't see a world where they cut him just because this wide receiver room is not very good.
I'm a Deontay Johnson truther. I think he's going to make waves in the receiver. We need a guy like Jerry Jeudy was one of the first dudes we've seen that just creates separation. I'd like to see that out of my receivers. I don't want to have to see our quarterbacks have to thread the needle every time we want to make a completion downfield. And I know Deontay Johnson could make some separation from those cornerbacks. So I want to see him work out. I think he's a good route runner. I would like to see him and Jerry Jeudy running routes and making throws easy for whoever is back there behind the center.
Real man beater, they call him. He's only 28, so there's actually still plenty of room for him to grow and develop with the Browns. Just a matter of whether he can keep his head on straight and not complain about getting the ball maybe 3 times a game. All right, linebackers. This is probably, in my opinion, the Browns' weakest position outside of maybe safety. Like Grant Delpit, a beautiful, strong safety. Get down in the box, that's fine. But then you had Juan Thornhill, who somehow thinks he's still relevant and talking shit in Pittsburgh. Yeah,
he does.
Honestly. and then Ronnie Hickman, an undrafted free agent who's going to start. I would have loved, remember we were talking about Nick Emenwari, the guy from South Carolina. He ended up going to the Seattle Seahawks, so I think he's a fantastic draft pick for Mike McDonald. I worry about linebacker. Carson Schlesinger, you come in, you picked him 33. That's a premium pick, almost a first-round pick. A great, like, the report's great on him. He can play all 3 levels, but the issue is he was a walk-on, which is whatever. That's fine. But 1 year as a full-time starter at UCLA, that's an issue. Then you got Jordan Hicks, who's actually a pretty bright spot in the Browns defense last year. Devin Bush, I don't know what the hell's going on with him, but then you're going to have to rely on guys like Mohamed Diabate.
Yeah, man.
I don't know. I mean, they're putting a lot of stock.
It's a young group that they're going to have to patch together, Jack.
What'd you say?
Young room that they're going to have to patch together, dude.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, that's the good and the bad of having such a bad linebacker room is, like, if you're looking at Schlesinger's long-term development, like, it probably wouldn't be a bad thing for him to have the green dot as a rookie and play in a room with Diabate, who isn't going to overly command middle linebacker snaps. Devin Bush might be in jail by the time week 1 starts, so he might not even be in the equation. So, yeah, I mean, it seems pretty wide open, so develop the young kids.
It's wide open, but I feel like linebacker is though we've severely undervalued it at times and had some really negative players back there. It's the spot where you in the defense where you could kind of get away with having some more mid guys, and plus with how Schwartz used to like to play 2 linebacker sets. You got Baker, Hicks, and Schlesinger. If Schlesinger works out, that's a good rotation for 3. That's what I would like to see. I'm not saying this is going to be the bright spot on our team, but hopefully if those guys could be just a guy production, and then maybe we could get a little bit of playmaking out of Schlesinger that could kind of balance it out enough to where it's not too much of a weakness in our team.
I mean, if your D-line's raw, you can cover it up enough if you're getting to the quarterback fast enough. Let's go to the D-line. Obviously, Myles Garrett there. Malik Collins figures to be the starter at D-tackle along with Mason Graham. Alex Wright and Isaiah McGuire competing for the spot opposite of Myles. I got a feeling that'll be Isaiah McGuire's job. Mike Hall recovering from knee surgery. He'll roll in on that D-tackle room with Shelby Harris once healthy. Guys, my question is, Obo Okoronkwo mid?
Yeah.
In your guys' opinion?
Other than that 007 nickname, and then he didn't even change his number. Kind of mid. Cool sack.
I think he's good. But
is he though?
I think he's a fine NFL player.
He's a good rotational
I'm with
rusher.
you guys. I want to see that be Isaiah McGuire.
Yeah.
I mean, we've just been searching for so long getting Myles Garrett a running mate.
Tyrone
Shoyinka.
Yeah, he's an outside linebacker.
We've eternally never been able to give somebody to give Myles Garrett a running mate that's actually worth something, in my opinion.
And that's
at least we're trying young guys for once. So I feel like we always go pay a 32-year-old way too much money to get his last good year.
What?
Where's Alex Wright?
I mean, he'll compete with Isaiah McGuire. I think Isaiah McGuire's better, but
yeah, Alex Wright.
It's like
Isaiah
Austin
McGuire.
Hedges' son versus Dom Nunez's daughter. For
guys, when I think about Myles taking that step as a leader, you know that you're not going to get the vocal leadership, the rah leadership out of Myles. But when Jimmy Haslam, they gave him that extension. They said look, we want to see more leadership out of Myles. I almost think of it as in a world where Myles' leadership could come as help us develop Isaiah McGuire, help us develop Alex Wright, because those are guys that you're not going to pay a lot of money now or in the future, and if they could contribute and be really good opposite Myles, that's going to help the long-term view of this defensive line. That's going to help things with the cap space. I would love to see one of those guys just be the guy, so you could put an end to getting Obo Okoronkwo's, Jadeveon Clowney's, Olivier Vernon's, these kind of older vets that are a little bit, kind of playing on the back nine of their career to try to make that the bookend with Myles. Dude, let's just develop one of these young edges. And I feel like Myles has to have a couple tricks up his sleeve that these guys could learn from, because we've seen good promise out of both Isaiah McGuire and Alex Wright.
In his defense, though, I think it's really hard for him to teach people to do what he does. That's like telling LeBron to mentor Chetty Osman. You can't do.
Oh, chill on Chetty.
But no, I'm saying it's two different people.
LeBron did mentor Chetty Osman. What are we talking about?
He did, but he can't teach him how to just blow by a tackle on the edge. You know what I mean? He can teach him a spin move, but his spin move might be a 62 spin move when Myles is a 99. You know what I mean? He can only say so much to some of these guys who just don't have the talent that he does.
What position group heading into the season are you guys most concerned about? It could be a talent issue. It could be a depth issue.
I have a weird one. Offensive line, and it's it's just because they're going to have to keep the kids upright whenever they get in the game. You're at a point now where Batonio's on his last legs. 55 is up the middle too. I mean, Teller, same situation. They all have 1 year left on their contract. Even Cornelius Lucas and Tevin Jenkins, who they brought in to help at the tackle and guard, both have had big injury histories in their past. This is an old, injury-prone offensive line. That's not a good thing because you don't really know what you have in Zach Zinter and who's the other young guard or Whippler? Is that the other young kid too?
Luke Whippler.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm worried about the line.
Is it crazy? I'm not about to say quarterback, and I feel like this is going to be an unpopular pick, but I'm going to say the secondary. Because they're so we got a lot invested and they're unproven and so inconsistent as it is and injury prone.
I agree.
They hold the defense together. We were so bad when they had a bad year. I need them to be at least average or back to we're expecting a lot from these guys. It hinges on them being great man to man and press. If they're mid again, I don't see how this defense gets any stops.
I agree. You go back to the year with Flacco when they made the playoffs, your second and third level was pretty damn good up until the playoffs in the latter part of that season, and that is what worries me. The defensive line is fine. That's Jim Schwartz, bread and butter. Outside of, if Denzel Ward goes down and you're relying on Martin Emerson to cover a wide receiver one, I don't love the idea of that. He had a great year 2 years ago. Last year kind of fell off. And then it's like Newsome. And whether what you feel about Newsome is one thing or the other, like he's a nickel. He's an average nickel at best, in my opinion. And whatever, like, was it worth the first rounder? I don't think so. And then it's like, okay, Cam Mitchell, we don't even know we have in him. Again, I mentioned Grant Delpit, who's great, but like he's not your coverage guy. It's like Ronnie Hickman. Can he really cover? I don't know. We haven't had a really good free safety. I don't know when. It's been like a graveyard between John Johnson, Juan Thornhill,
Gibson.
Yeah, the Shark.
It's the second and third levels for the Browns defense that's what worries me.
And it's sadly not even like if Denzel Ward can stay healthy anymore. Like it's just like you expect maybe like it's going to be a game or two, but that's just the game of football. So like I don't know, that defense with like 2 injuries in that secondary, like I don't know, who are we turning to?
Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting. A lot of holes. We'll see how it plays out, guys. All right, let's take a break. When we get back, we'll talk some Guardians. Trade deadline not till July 31st, but Jensen Lewis on the Big Play Cleveland show last night had some interesting things to say. Could we possibly see Emmanuel Clase get dealt at the deadline? We'll talk about that when we get back on the Big Factor. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Big Factor here on the Big Play Sports Network. Ryan, Tyler, Jack Rourke, Nick Pinot, and Rob Watson. Got to tell you about our friends at Garage Beer. Garage Beer comes in just 2 flavors, classic light lager as well as classic lime. No frills, no bitterness, no IPAs. This is just beer the way you want it. It's beer-flavored beer. Scan that QR code now or go visit their website, drinkgaragebeer.com, to find local retailers who sell garage beer near you. Again, that's drinkgaragebeer.com. Actually, I want to have this real quick discussion. I just thought about this before we dive into the guards. We got time. If you guys could take one player from an AFC North team, you can't say a quarterback or Jamar Chase because I think that's probably the obvious one to be on the Cleveland Browns. Who are you stealing?
Kyle Hamilton.
No QBs.
I thought of Kyle Hamilton as well.
No QBs, no Jamar Chase.
Yes, because Jamar Chase is the obvious one, and then you'd say Burrow or Jackson, but we're not going to be like that. I think Kyle Hamilton.
Give me Hamilton. I think it's actually
Watt, bro.
Yeah.
What?
It was between Watt and Kyle Hamilton.
Kyle Hamilton's probably 8 years younger, though.
That edge rush for one season, I think we actually somehow win 8 games, bro.
Give me T. Higgins.
Okay.
I'll take T. Higgins from the Bengals. I think Jude, like, with any of the, but like, imagine Flacco, Judy, T. Higgins, Njoku, like, then you're on to something.
I like how we all went with a different team there.
Yeah, good for us.
We're just poaching AFC North foes here.
All right, Jack. Trade deadline not till July 31st, but if the Guardians keep playing like this, they're going to be sellers at the deadline. Names that have come up a lot, potentially traded from the Guardians before the deadline: Carlos Santana, Lane Thomas. Is it possible, if things are bad enough, we would consider trade Emmanuel Clase at the deadline?
Yeah, I think you absolutely have to at least consider it. You'd be crazy not to. I mean, his contract goes up. It spikes over each of the next couple of years. I mean, it's also like closer is kind of like the cherry on top, like the icing on the cake. Like you have everything. Like back when we were kind of regrouping after the Cody Allen era ended, it was like, okay, we have a good team. Everything's there. Go get your closer. Getting your closer is kind of like the last step. Also, you already have Cade Smith, who can be your closer. Like next year, you're going to get back Andrew Walters, who could be a closer type of guy. Franco Ailman will be up in Cleveland this year. He could be a closer type of guy or step into the Cade Smith role for him. That threw me off so bad, damn. But yeah, there's enough guys that can help the back end of your bullpen, and guys you're going to get back soon, like Trevor Stephan, where you can feel comfortable moving on from Emmanuel Clase.
Ryan, your comfortability with the hotkeys is going to be what takes the factor to the next level, man. I hope you know that.
I need to I have to in my head remember, because I don't have them like labeled, so I can like press a hotkey and press the wrong one, but I'm getting better at it. Jack. Interesting row here. If things get bad enough, should we have a serious discussion about Stephen Kwan? What were you thinking about that?
Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and say like, oh, go trade Stephen Kwan. That's not by any means what I mean. I hope this team, and I actually probably of everyone in this room / call has the most faith in the Guardians being in a playoff spot or buying towards the deadline. But yeah, I think if you're in a spot where you fall, like, let's say more than 7 or 8 games under 500, like maybe starting pitching bottoms out, Shane Bieber has another setback, you don't see him even until the deadline. I think you're in a world where you haven't extended Stephen Kwan. Obviously, it would have been nice to see that happen last offseason. If you're starting to think like, hey, maybe this might not happen with him in terms of getting that extension done, and with each passing day, whether you're in the season or not, it looks more and more like it, you really do have to consider moving on from him, because it would be the right timing, and it would suck because it would kind of signal a restart as well from this building up for Jose era. But yeah, you'd have to retool and go get a major league ready player somewhere and a couple of prospects for him.
I got a question for the baseball guys, because we talked the other day about the Steelers being in football purgatory, football hell. I feel like we are watching a baseball team that, while they are limited, we're kind of in the same spot. Where do you guys think about the people who talk about maybe it's time to just tear it all down and see if you could build it up from the young guys and the pieces you get back, because of their lack of willingness to spend money, to have that cheap team through building the players up through the minor league systems and whatnot? What do you say about someone that would talk about trading maybe Jose, Kwan, or whoever and just trying to rebuild?
Well, it's a little bit different because in other sports like football or basketball or even really hockey, when you signal a rebuild, like you can just go in and guarantee, okay, if we trade enough proper assets, we can have a top 5 pick who's going to come and help our team immediately. You can't really do that in baseball. So like, it's not even like the other sports where it's like you need to tank if you're not good, because like you can't really, it doesn't matter where you pick in baseball. I mean, it does, but like you don't need to be 1 to 5 to find a good guy. There's good guys 1 to 10. It's a crapshoot. Like, it's a much different sport in the way it's set up. So you don't totally need to be like, okay, it doesn't matter if we're good or bad. You can be okay and try and take your shot in baseball. It's not the best strategy in the world, but I don't know. They're never going to trade Jose because the city would burn down and no one would go to the games. So that's
he has
not
a no trade clause as well. Could we please stomp that out? Please stomp that out. I saw that was a talking point on some local shows this morning. Like, that is not happening. Jose Ramirez took an all-time historic team-friendly discount to remain in Cleveland. Jose Ramirez could have got what Lindor got from the New York Mets, from the Yankees, from the Dodgers, the Red Sox, any of these big markets. He wanted to be in Cleveland. He took a discount with a no-trade clause, so he can't be moved outside of Cleveland. They're never trading Jose Ramirez. Like, we can stop that now.
So then if these other players aren't good enough, though, how do you rebuild the team is what I'm trying to figure out. I feel like they're still kind of I think it's been a similar spot for a while since the residuals of the team that went to the World Series. What, like, do you need to keep these kind of guys? Like, how do they take the steps? I just feel like
it's when you're a small market team, you're like, it's different. The NFL, you can't buy a team. Like, and it's the same for MLB. Like, you can spend all the money in the world, doesn't guarantee a World Series. We've seen that with the Yankees. They haven't won since what, Jack?
2009.
Yeah, it's been like almost 20 years now.
Yeah.
When you're a small market team, your margin of error is so much more thin because you can't afford to pay a guy like Shohei Ohtani, a guy like Juan Soto. You have to continually develop these young guys, which the Guardians have done a great job of, but we've seen so many times over and over again when you get to the postseason, that only gets you so far. Like, obviously you have your years where the Rangers win and the Diamondbacks win the World Series, and everybody talks about that. Well, the guy could be the Guardians. Yeah, we saw that in 2016, and that's not really the greatest comparison because they really should have won that series. But last year's team, right, like playing against the Yankees in the ALCS, like you knew damn well the Guardians had to be perfect to go to the World Series, and they were far from it.
To build off of what Ryan said, because I think I can even give you a further answer of where we might have fallen off in the plan. I think I have a very good point actually off of what Ryan just said, because he just triggered something great in my mind. It is what you have to do is what you need to have a star player in that core, right? So for that 2016 team, it was Lindor coming up, debuted right before, was already good enough to lead you there.
Soto won the World Series on
Soto was one of the best players, won at 19 years old. Yeah, 100%. Like, that can happen, but you need to have that star player. And we have Jose, who we are paying a lot of money to for us. So what you need to do is once you have that core level guy, when you're the kind of team we are, where you can't go out and sign $20 million contracts, is you need to identify 2 to 3 younger players who are very good at baseball, and you need to bet on yourself and I'll bet a lot of money that, hey, we're going to extend them very, very young. young, like way too young, and hope that then we can build them up and keep all these guys around for 4 to 5 years. Then we can go out and get that last piece, right? So when you look at this past core, after 2022, when you made the playoffs, that was the big extension year really in our heads, right? So that's when you go out, they extended Stefan in the bullpen, and they had a couple of hitters they were looking at, and a lot of people, for many reasons, wanted it to be Steven Kwan, to be the hitter to get extended after his debut year. Maybe you find a way to get him like 6 years, $30 million or something like that. So you don't have to think about trading him like right now. The way things shake out, I don't know if it's because of money or whatever, or the fact that the guy had an awesome year, which he did. Andres Jimenez is the one who gets that kind of extension, and Steven Kwan does not. So we're playing a game now where like Steven Kwan, Josh Naylor, those kind of guys we're playing around with, like dancing with the devil of arbitration now, like of what their contracts are going to cost. That's when you consider trading them. Andres was the guy they kept. Andres ends up being, hey, he wasn't the guy that should have gotten the $100 million contract from you. Now you're kind of screwed. You trade him. You end up doing whatever the heck that was in the offseason. Luis Ortiz is what you end up getting out of what should have been that second level contract that helped you out.
Damn, that is sobering when you put it that way, Jack. Wow.
It really is. It really that's
goes back
very
to
well said.
the margin of error is so thin.
We're really playing the game on like
let me say
legendary
too,
difficulty, and other teams are playing it on easy.
It is, but let me say too, like extending Andres Jimenez when they did was absolutely the correct move, because if you didn't extend Andres Jimenez when you did off of his 280 20-ish home run season in 2022 with his great defense, he would have been gone faster than Frankie Lindor was. You know, like that's just what you have to do when you have young talent at shortstop. And sadly, for whatever reason, some injury stuff happened. Andres wasn't the guy here where they could afford to pay him that money to hit how he did.
All right, let's take another break. When we get back, we'll do a little bit fill in the blank. I don't even know what the questions are. Jack's got them, so this will be interesting. We'll be right back on The Big Factor. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to The Big Factor here on the Big Play Sports Network. Ryan Tyler, Jack O'Rourke, Nick Padone, Rob Watson. We're flipping over to, well, I don't even know. Fill in the blank. Jack, what do we got?
All right, guys. Here we go. You want to go Cavs, Browns, or Guards first? Where do you want to start? We can pool around a little bit.
It's your world, bro. I'm living in it.
Okay. We're just doing some Guards. I also should have added that the Josh Bell and Mike Zeno contracts were a big issue in 2023. Sorry about that. But blank will spend the most games hitting in the number 2 hole this season for the Cleveland Guardians. So basically, I'm asking you to close your eyes, take a dart, and just chuck it.
Lane Thomas.
I love it. I love that. I love it. I love it.
That's not a bad guess. I would like it to be Lane Thomas. I feel like if it's Lane Thomas, that means he's hitting well and things are going good for the Guards.
Nick?
I want to say Lane Thomas as well, but I don't.
Cooking?
He's about to get traded, though.
No, I wasn't cooking.
That was actually partially my answer. I was going to go, I think the platoon of center field is going to take over the 2 hole at some point in time this season. I think is what's going to happen there.
So if it wasn't Lane Thomas, who else could it be? You know, who's the other piece of the platoon?
I mean, Angie doesn't get on base at a high enough clip to be a 2-hitter, though.
We have a
not the Lane or Nolan are right now.
I think that ship has probably sailed for Martinez. I could even make the argument that like he had his shot to be that 2-hole hitter, and now he's going to probably find himself at the bottom of the lineup on days that he plays.
You should have said David Fry, Rob.
Low key. Do we have a center field prospect?
I mean, I think
Fry's
it would more
DH
so be
now.
they would move Jones from right to center and put DeLauder in right, just because DeLauder also has a big injury history, so putting him in center is a little bit risky.
So is Nolan Jones good or not?
Rob, they're ass. The Guardians are cheap and ass. Like it's you'll be a lot happier once you just accept that.
Tough, bro.
They're winning the World Series. Okay. Browns. After Nick Chubb, blank will be the next superstar to leave Cleveland. to be any sport.
I mean, it'll be Myles Garrett eventually. I don't think he's going to retire as a Brown. After this contract, if you're still asked and you don't get to the playoffs consistently, like there's no way. Myles Garrett already got his massive contract, generational wealth. I imagine when he's on the latter part of his career, 34, 35, he's going to just go to a team, to a contender.
You're saying just the next player to leave any team.
Superstar, though.
Donovan Mitchell.
Okay, that's where I was going to go too. Actually, what's your reasoning?
I'm
kind of figured.
gonna say Clase, Emmanuel Clase.
I didn't realize. I thought this was purely Browns.
No, this is just straight Cleveland sports.
Then I would go. Like, are we considering Emmanuel Clase a star? Like, I know he's a
Dude,
I
know he's a young one.
Yeah, I know, but it's like.
He's absolutely a star.
He
would count.
But here's the
Nick's
thing.
probably right.
But here's the thing. He's way easier to replace than Donovan Mitchell and Myles Garrett.
I feel like
but he's still a
gonna
star.
sting when we fumble out another 2 playoffs and he's just like, all right, I'm done, and he leaves and goes to X team and somehow wins a ring or whatever happens, bro. Like,
yeah, but Clase's long gone before that.
Yeah.
But here's the thing.
And Quan's probably gone before that.
Here's the difference. Here's the difference.
That mad that Clase leaves, though, is what I think.
Also that, and here's the difference. Emmanuel Clase, if he leaves, it's because he got traded. If Myles Garrett or Donovan Mitchell leave, it's because either Donovan's not going to sign a second contract or another contract you're going to trade him, or Myles Garrett's contract's up and he says, give me the hell out of here.
2 players that also haven't shown any signs of decline or falling off as well.
True.
Then Quan.
Okay.
Yeah, Quinn might be Quan.
Get him out of.
Blank is the most likely Cav to get moved this offseason. So who's going to be the first Cav off the Bucks this offseason?
Jared Allen, but
I think they're going to try to they're scamming somebody. Okoro and Wade.
Yeah, it's low key Dean Wade. They're trying to open up that MLE somehow. They're going to figure something out, but it might be both of them.
What do you guys think they'd use the MLE on?
I gotta see.
No, I don't even know. I really think they try to move Okoro and Wade simply for tax purposes. You know,
if you're gonna keep both, we need a backup center. Like, it can't be Tristan Thompson. I don't know this.
They got needs, Rob. They got needs. They're strapped with that second apron though. So if you get rid of Okoro and Wade, or even just one of those guys, you have a little bit more flexibility in terms of what you owe for the luxury tax. And then that's when you could do like a 1-for-1 Jared Allen swap for somebody.
Yeah.
All right, guys, moving back to the guards. Blank will be the first prospect to hit Cleveland.
You know better than I do. I mean, I would imagine, is it not DeLauder or Cavus?
I was actually not going to say either of them.
What if it was Pizzana? What if they just said, F it, we ball. No Columbus. We're bringing this dude up.
Just raw dog it straight through the majors?
From Akron to Cleveland. We're not putting him on that hour-and-a-half trek down to the Clippers.
Is that not
that's not happening. That's not my answer.
Okay,
but that would be... I've been complaining that the Guardians haven't been very fun and that there's no reason to watch. I think everybody would be tuned in if that happened.
Fair though.
I'm going to go. I kind of have a hot take. He's just kind of getting back into playing baseball again. So it would be like probably another 2 weeks from now. I don't know if we see Chase DeLauder quite yet. I think they want to make sure he's fully healthy and stuff. I think it's going to be Juan Brito. I think he's going to get the fast track once he is back because he's been on the 40-man for 3 years now, which is important to note because Chase DeLauder's not even on the 40-man roster. Like, you can kind of keep your spots with like relievers like Matt Crook and guys like that, like more secure. You don't have to DFA guys if you decide to call up someone who's already on the 40-man. CJ Kafis is also not on the 40-man. Brito can play second. He can play first. He could probably help you out on the other side of the infield. He can play left. He can play right. He's a switch hitter. I think it's just a day if you want to put Nolan down in the outfield for a day. I mean, there's so many things you could do if you call up Juan Brito. And honestly, I think he might project better than the other two as well.
All right, Jack, let's end this bad boy. Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Florida 1 win away from closing that thing out. They're a minus 150 favorite to be back-to-back Stanley Cup champions tonight. Puck drop 8 o'clock.
Yeah, whoever wins tonight is winning the series. As dumb as that sounds, it's pretty obvious. But yeah, if Florida gets it done at home tonight, yeah, you're looking at back-to-back. You take down the Oilers, the Vegas Golden Knights being the only thing to stop them from three-peating in the NHL. But man, if you're Edmonton, if you can find a way, you kind of fought back all series. The theme of their team has always been resiliency, like coming back from big deficits. They're kind of like the Pacers in a way, except if the Pacers had LeBron James on their team. Like, that's kind of their motif as a team, you could say. So I don't know. Like, if you win that game on the road, you get back home into Edmonton for Game 7. They haven't won a cup in forever. McDavid's 9 years in the league now without a cup. I mean, it'd be impossible to go into that building and not win, right? If you're Edmonton. So I mean, it's going to be a hell of a finish either way. I do think Edmonton gets it done tonight, though, and I think we see a Game 7.
I think it's one of those things where they might be just running out of a little steam. You know what we say about those improbable comebacks? It takes a lot out of you. Hockey's a really demanding sport.
Yes, it is.
You know, that's a lot of stress.
For 30 seconds at a time.
That's a lot of hidden. It's a lot going on. So I feel like if they got to get in a comeback scenario, I feel it's the same thing where they just come up just short, just like last year when they won 3 in a row, but they ran out of gas at the end.
Do we see, like, the NHL doesn't really have, like, a Scott Foster extender, but do you think we see a bunch of Edmonton power plays tonight, Rob?
Oh, that would be nasty. Do they want to see that, though? Is the narrative?
I think Gary Bettman and the NHL definitely want to see Connor McDavid.
Let's watch these calls. Let's see the penalties. Let's see. We'll be watching intently tonight. We'll have a recap after tomorrow.
Hey, Ryan, a little bit of breaking news on the program before we wrap here from John Heyman, baseball columnist, New York Post. Rafael Devers has arrived in San Francisco, will presumably be in the lineup tonight.
Wait, should I tap
Get
into
ready
the
to learn
game?
Logan Allen, buddy.
LTA versus Rafi Devers.
Him all along.
What's the bet on that guy to hit a home run? I could win some bread on that if he goes crazy tonight. A little home run or like.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, okay.
But hey, I will say out there in the Bay Area, I mean, sometimes that wind blows in from the water. I mean, I don't know. It's looking like a Logan Allen under kind of game to me.
All right. Well, God bless LTA. All right, we're out of time. Appreciate Garage Beer Fairway Forward. Call It Companies Championship is this week. Go get your tickets, callitgolf.com. It's fun. 2 tickets, 1 experience. You can bring your family. If you're under 18, they get in for free. It's going to be an absolute blast. Golf and music. You don't want to miss it. All right. Appreciate everybody tuning in to The Big Factor here on the Big Play Sports Network. We'll be back tomorrow. Same people, same time. Peace out.